Well, a little bit. As I recall, there was quite a confrontation at this village, and that we have a bit of a power split now between the previous most respected person and the newcomer and her friends. And we have, you have discovered some things that have upset all of you in one way or another about the origin of this giant, which apparently was born from some kind of alchemy, and to use modern terms, is obviously radioactive, and or uses some kind of process of that kind for power, um, and that at the moment we don't have a crisis. We did not end in the middle of a crisis. So we have the opportunity to live here for a little while. I think all of you had some ideas about what to do, but all of you um, now have the ability to do those things in the context of living here. And so it's a good idea not to think of this as a black op where the team goes in and does one thing and that's your adventure, but rather you are travelers and you need a place to live while you do anything. And so all of you are going to be living here for a little while. And so your I have plenty to do, but in the interest of player freedom, or some player freedom, I will. Well, I have been editing this game. We call it hard framing. You are here. Bam. This is happening. What do you do? A little bit less of the, well, I have a great big map and you can just wander around and pick your nose until we feel like doing something. So that can be a good way to play. But for this game, we are moving to activities instead. So here we are. You are free to talk about what you want to do, of course, not just as players, but thinking about your characters and what they would talk about or want to do. And plenty of skill rolls will be involved. We have suffered without enough skill rolls lately, and I want lots and lots of skill rolls. So please look at your sheets, think about things you can do, think about things you want to do that might not be on your sheets, because many of them can be resolved with other rolls. So, do you want a recap of some of the people? The prominent person among the women who worship the Woods Woman in this village. By the way, worshippers of the Woods Woman are not all female. It just so happens in this village, for various reasons, it is a conclave of women who have joined to keep that tradition alive here. So I realized I had kind of given the wrong impression. But anyway, the prominent person among that group is named Sila, and then and her name is similar to the child, who is being fostered by somebody in the village who knew her family. So her name is Leng La. Hin is the woman you will remember quite well, I'm sure. And then Vang is the very passionate man who tried to break her policy. Vang is currently, due to the Battle of Charisma, Vang has not been executed, but he is not being trusted to move about freely and talk to whoever he wants. Hin has enough influence to impose surveillance and monitoring his behavior. So that is, I believe, our current arrangement. And I have lots of dice. I have terrible ideas. But in order for the ideas have to have a surface to hit. So tell me what you're doing so I have my surface.
Okay. Shall I start?
Sure. You have lots of ideas, and I told you that your enthusiasm was wonderful, and we will see what happens in play. So,
I'd like to start off with maybe visiting. Wait, Swords Host is a blacksmith, right?
right.
I need somebody to go through my armor and fix it.
That's a fine idea. And it...
First thing.
And that sounds great. There's plenty of room for all of you to have your weapons and armor tended to.
Yeah, great.
That's not a problem. And there's plenty of... you don't have to pay for it in coins. There is no coin-based currency at all. Instead, you are merely
What does he want?
accumulating... Well, it was a round disc. I don't know if it was a coin. If you do things like this, you simply accumulate social debt that is marked in some concrete way. Usually, in the case of blacksmith, he has made a point that he has links in chains. So he adds links to chains that he has hanging around his property, and so that's your chain. And so it's kind of a given that, after a while, you've done enough for him or worked with his people enough or whatever that your chain gets taken down. So that kind of thing.
Fair.
Yeah. That's the kind of way that's how things are generally done. It's unconstructed and can sometimes lead to resentments and arguments, but on the other hand, no more than money, because money never gives rise to resentments and arguments and disputes, of course. So now we have that's a basic task, and you have enough credit, social, presence. It actually enhances his reputation a little bit to do this for you. So he only puts one starting link for a chain. That's almost prestige for him, almost. Hey, she got her stuff here. So,
oh gosh, I'm in so much trouble.
Sandra, can you hear us?
Yes.
And what would you like to do? Oh, I just remembered. Mika, I saw you put your finger up in the social request for attention. I'm sorry. Do you want to go right away? Should I stay with Sandra?
Stay with Sandra.
Okay.
Well, am I healed?
Technically, yes. There have been both time and you have received some attention. That's true, although we will remember the injuries that you and Jala received. And if the game mechanics turn us to those body parts again, we can point out that they have received some severe stress lately. But you don't have any current missing points or anything like that.
Okay.
In my opinion, it would be a good rule for this game if healing could not be complete, that you would always had to heal the last point naturally. This magical healing, butcher, I get my guts torn up, my neck chopped half through, I'm healed, I jump up, and okay, next time. It's got a kind of, it becomes laughable after a while. The first time is dramatic, but then it becomes kind of like comedy. So I think that I won't impose that rule because I'm only changing the rules of the game by accident. But but just as a game designer and a player of the game, I would look at this and say, we ought to make those injuries hurt long term a little bit more. But healing or no healing, magic. So, okay, that's just my comment. Tim, the answer to your question is that in game mechanics terms, both of you are much better. And Mika, where were we with your interests and desires?
I was looking at my one of my the cult of the half snake folk,
Mm-hmm.
and if I remember right, I am an initiate,
Correct.
and I haven't done the rolls because
The rolls to...
I could have like +1 charisma, plus 10% weapon skill,
Oh, that's
different
right.
kind of skills. So I
Well,
didn't do them.
let's consider that this already happened a long time ago. Your character,
Okay.
I built your character to be pretty competent
Okay.
with that in mind. So you don't get anything extra. It's in there somewhere
Okay.
in the background.
Another thing, we were talking about blacksmith.
Yeah.
I guess my character, my alchemy is kind of skewed towards blacksmithing too.
Oh, toward materials. Okay.
Yeah, can I help the blacksmith kind of improve my party's armor?
Ah, I see what you mean. Interesting. You're going to treat it with some kind of an alchemy. Okay.
I didn't dare to ask.
That's kind of interesting.
That's why I went like, oh,
yeah, that's not a
I
bad
have an
idea.
idea. You wanted rolls, so
Yeah, no, it's a fine idea. Actually, let's
Oh yeah.
yeah. Let's go ahead. The blacksmith will conduct his job successfully. The question now is how you alter or change the armor.
yeah. You're asking me how
Yes.
I'm changing the armor?
Yeah. That's what you wanted to do, correct?
Yeah. Materials.
Yeah.
So what? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
you
hold
don't
it
have
up.
to do the brewing or anything because you're not really making a potion or a drink or anything like that. I figured the blacksmith is doing the actual shaping of the material and fixing it, and you are altering it. So it is just the materials roll. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of because I was reading the cult of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my cult is big in blacksmithing. Not
Right.
iron, but bronze
Yes.
or copper.
That's right. Uh-huh.
So maybe I could help him refine the materials used in the process.
Yes, that's correct. You are not skilled as a blacksmith, but you know the materials very, very well. And
so maybe I can refine.
What's interesting here is that bronze, we have discussed this before, bronze is an alloy. And it really matters, the proportions of tin and copper. And then there are other materials that can go in, like zinc. And this is why you have all the way from brass to different kinds of bronze to the kind of really flexible and soft bronze, all the way to the hard bronze that you can use for weapons and things. So it's all the percentages of the materials, which is what you know. So you go right ahead and roll.
Wait. Will that alter the weight of the armor?
That's what he's trying to avoid.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's exactly what you are doing, is improving the bronze so that it maintains its strength and is lightened.
So I'm gonna roll a percentile die?
Correct.
Okay. 81.
Oh, that's not such a good roll. I don't think. So the issue here is that it's going to be really nice bronze, but it won't have any So you improve it in terms of its value because you didn't really fail badly, but you didn't achieve your goal, which was to improve its game mechanics.
Okay. Value is fine with me.
Yeah, and you
being a merchant, so
correct. And so you keep busy and make yourself known. You and the blacksmith might become kind of buddies. You can talk about bronze together, and
Yeah.